When Elaine saw that Horiah was about to come up and do something, she immediately jumped a step back and said coldly, "I tell you, Horiah, you can't offend me, you'd better not indulge me." Horiah cursed with a stern face, "I can't afford to offend you, Lady Wilson. If I don't tear your mouth today, I would change my name." Elaine snorted and said coldly, "My precious son-in-law Charlie, that's a very good fight. You forgot how he taught the Wilson family's dog legs, and your rubbish son Harold? Kick your son up into the sky. You provoke me, believe it or not, I will call him over with a phone call and let him kill you two old turtles." As soon as these words came out, Horiah trembled all over, like a deflated ball. All the rhetoric just now disappeared. To be honest, Charlie really left a strong psychological shadow on her. She couldn't understand why the rubbish who could be bullied before suddenly became so capable of beating. He was a pervert when he struck up people. Noah was also very afraid of Charlie. After all, he had watched Charlie do it with his own eyes at the beginning, and that guy almost did scare him to pee. Elaine saw that the two of them were afraid to say anything, knowing that they were both afraid of him, and immediately sneered, "Oh, I really sympathize with you when I say. The Wilson family is over, Harold and Wendy have no objective, and Wendy is now in Orus Hill, and that is also well known to all. You will definitely be particularly sad in the future." As she said, Elaine said with a serious face, "Don't blame me for not reminding you. Just don't buy a villa if you look like a bird." "What kind of villa do you buy? There are mines at home? You might eat it any day. In the absence of a last meal, let me see, you should go to the suburbs to buy a cheap small house, and take the remaining money to do a small business." Noah and Horiah were so angry that they couldn't speak. Elaine continued, "Right. I think you might as well open a mahjong hall. In this case, when Shaline's villa is sold, I will take my sisters to your mahjong hall to support you, so that you will not starve to death. What do you think?" Noah had a heart attack. Horiah on the side wanted to kill Elaine. This is the first time they have seen Elaine so unsparingly sarcastic. Even the most ruthless sarcasm they have suffered in their entire lives. What's even more hateful is that they can't talk back. Why is this mouth back? Eating, dressing, housing, use, daughter, son-in-law, everything is better than Elaine, this stinky lady. Thinking of this, Noah and his wife were even more frustrated. They were so ashamed and angry that they wanted to dig a hole directly on the spot. Elaine was in a mess at this time, and she even wanted to open her throat to sing a few more words. She can't remember how long she hasn't been so happy. She is simply repaying the previous hatred, even with the benefits. Noah knew that he couldn't find his face today, so he said coldly, "Elaine, sooner or later you will pay for your arrogance of today." Elaine nodded and sighed, "Yes, big brother, I think the price will come soon. I will move to Thompson's big villa next month. The house is so big that I might be in it every day. I will be lost several times. How can I live in this house now? The house there is so big and tall, I'm afraid that I won't adapt to it." As she said, Elaine sighed again and said, "Hey, when we live in Thompson, we will be separated from eldest brother, and we will not see each other often in the future, so I can't listen to what the eldest brother and sister-in-law say often. These are the prices I have to pay for today." Noah felt that he was going to be blown up soon. In order to save his life, he gritted his teeth and stomped his feet and cursed, "DMN, if you don't buy the house, let's go." After speaking, he took Horiah and went out. The intermediary girl on the side greeted her in a very embarrassing manner. Although she despised the two customers after listening to Elaine's words, the customer is God after all. When Sheelin saw the two gone, she couldn't help sighing. "Sister Elaine, your two relatives are too weird. Do they think I am a fool? They wanted to buy my villa for $8 million. Elaine smiled and said, "They are about to go bankrupt, and they have no money at all. They are just a bunch of poor people. Even if you promise them to sell for $8 million, they may not be able to pay." Sheelin nodded and said, "It's really disappointing. Let's ignore them and continue playing cards." When Noah and his wife Horiah left the villa, they scolded the people in the street, in unison. The main reason why they didn't dare to scold in front of Elaine was because they were afraid of her son-in-law Charlie. If they really get beaten, it will be a big loss. The intermediary followed the two of them. After they had enough scolding, she cautiously asked, "Mr. and Mrs. Wilson, are you two still looking for other houses?" Horiah's face was extremely ugly. She glared at her and cursed, "Look at your mother, get out." After speaking, she took Noah and walked out of the community. The little girl was aggrieved in tears, but because of her weak temper, she didn't have the courage. But when Horiah went out, she wanted to get more and more angry, and couldn't help but say to Noah, "This Elaine, she doesn't know how to show off if she has too stinky money. Look at her virtuous attitude. She actually showed off that she was going to live in the Thompson first grade, and she panicked for us. Whose big villa is, does she have no idea? If Charlie's rubbish goes out to deceive people, what can she do?"